here we talk about abiding non-dual awareness. That's what we're exploring here. That's what we talk about here. We talk about different aspects of abiding non-dual awareness. So today's topic is lucid in the dream state. Okay. So let's go backwards. Abiding non-dual awareness. Abiding non-dual awareness. What is that? First of all, it cannot be completely articulated, but I will give it my best shot. Abiding non-dual awareness is the elimination of any kind of duality or conflict. What does it take to have conflict? There takes a good and there takes a bad. What takes to have conflict? There's death and there's life. What does it take to have conflict? All of these dual systems, young, old, pretty, ugly, successful, failure, right? Duality is what you might not know this yet, but when you know it, as they say. When you know, you know. When you know that duality is suffering. Now, so duality is based on either this or either that. It's always subject, object. And your character, not the truth, you are always the subject and everything else is the object. This is the way that you relate to the world. This is the way you relate to yourself. This is the way you relate to people in your life. This is the way you relate to coffee. This is the way you relate to your phone. There is you and there's the phone. There's you and then there's coffee. There's you and then there's how you look. And then subject, object, subject, object, subject, object. This is duality. When we talk about abiding non-duality, it's the stripping away of every single conflict or duality that is happening. And it's only happening, this is where we're going to start going now. It's only happening where? It's only happening in the mind. And how does the duality happen? The duality happens when the character, which isn't the truth, gives a meaning to something. Coffee good, tea bad, right? Whatever, I'm not going to go there. Okay? So your character gives meaning to everything. And as soon as you give meaning to it, you're in duality. Because what we're talking about, meaning, comes with a belief, comes with a feeling, comes with even better, an opinion. That meaning says this is good and this is bad. Coffee is bad, tea is good. So as you begin to walk around the world, and if you're a tea good, coffee bad person, you might go to England and be like, oh my God, I found my people. Do you understand? I found my people because they're tea people. Do you understand? They're not the coffee people because they're the tea people. So that meaning is immediately setting up what? Conflict between the coffeeers and the teers, right? And that conflict, no matter how slight, is creating suffering in the experience of the character, right? Okay, so let's talk about what the dream state is. The dream state is exactly what I just said. You're not even aware that if you're a tea person, you have a what? You have a judgment of coffee people. And I'm not saying a judgment in a negative way. I'm saying a judgment in there's a separation. There's a separation. Separation is duality. Otherwise, there's only what? Non-duality, which is one. I almost said one. Almost is only one. So the dream state is this idea of always constantly living in this reality. And that reality is what? Subjective. It is never objective. It is always subjective. Why is it always subject? Because your individualized character is interpret everything, and giving it a meaning for what it is. So the dream state is, to just put it kind of basically, is all of these realities running around competing in duality. Gotta be better, I gotta be worse. I gotta get it done before I die. I don't care if I die. But it's always this. It's the push and the pull. It's exactly like, if you're old enough to remember, the first Dr. Dolittle. I'm old enough to remember that. I don't even know if listen, I never watched the other Dr. Dolittles. But in the original Dr. Dolittle with Rex Harrison, there was a character, an animal, called a push me, pull you. This is what duality is, right? So they're connected together. It's a llama. And if you know it, it's like a llama here. It's two fronts of a llama stuck together. So there's a head going this way and there's a head going this way. And so this llama is going, push me, pull you, pull me, push you, pull me, push you, push me, pull you, push me, pull you, push me, pull you. You understand? That is what suffering is. And that's the dream state. That's the dream state. It can be applied to your finances. It can be applied to your emotions, for sure. It can be applied to your relationships. It can be applied to how you deal with yourself. Everything is the push me, pull you, push me, pull you, push me, pull you. That's the dream state. Now, today's topic is being lucid in the dream state. What does lucid mean? Lucid means awake. It means awareness. So you don't want to be, you don't have to be, it doesn't matter, because the push me pull you, which is what you are, the push me pull you doesn't want to be awake. It wants to continue go, yes, no, no, yes, no, yes, win, lose, war, war, war. War within itself, war outside, right? The red people don't like the blue people. The blue people don't like the red people, but the red people are right. No, the blue people are right. Wait a second, the red people are right. Wait a second, Duality is suffering. Look around the world. Look what's happening in the dream. That's the dream. It's not real. It's only not real because the characters have made a meaning out of these things. And when you make a meaning out of these things, you go right to sleep, right? So being lucid in the dream state means you start to do, well, this could be happening for you in this moment. That you could start be going, oh, I get it. I see what's happening. You're starting to get a sense of the game that's going on, right? I often refer to this as the ant farm, right? Remember ant farms? Two pieces of plexiglass, say that 10 times, put together, and then sand put in it, and then ants in there, and then you put it on your desk when you're a kid, and you watch them. And you cover it up so the ants stay stuck in the plexiglass, and you watch them burrow their little holes and make their little caves, and they feel like they are doing something. They're doing something. They're creating something. They're making a cave. This is what the dream state is. So the dream state is that you're the ants. When you're asleep, you're the ant. When you begin to become lucid in the dream state, you start to go, what the is going on here? What's going on here? And you start to become more what? Remember I told you that in the dream state, everything is subjective. But when it starts to happen, it starts to become what? Objective. And you start to see, you start to sense, you start to go, oh shit, I'm getting it. But you're not really getting it because the character can't really get this. You can get pointers like you might be getting today and see, I see that many people, what they'll do is they'll suddenly do a life review, right? And they'll be at a bar, having a drink, whatever. I'm just throwing, it could be anywhere. It could be while you're in nature, it doesn't matter. And all of a sudden you go, oh my God, I see that it doesn't matter if I ever win this race because I've been on this race. And the race is never ending. Search, 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 failure, search, 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 success, search, 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 failure, search, 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 success, search, 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 failure, search, 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 success. And all of a sudden, you remember being 5, and all of a sudden you are 85, and you're still doing search, 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 failure, search, 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 success. And one day you might be sitting at a bar having a drink, or outside in the beautiful sunrise, whatever, and go, oh my God, I see what's happening. That is being lucid in the dream state. Being lucid in the dream state. Now, how do you become lucid in the dream state? You begin to, consciously or unconsciously, this happens unconsciously for people and it happens consciously for people. They become what Jed McKenna would say is done. This is what's happened. This character has been done. Done. It's all meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. And this character became very aware of that. And so this character operates very differently in the dream than it used to. It becomes very unconditional. Doesn't matter if this character, I'm going to talk for this character, this Max character, doesn't matter if I'm successful or I'm a failure. Doesn't matter if I'm rich or I'm poor. Doesn't matter if people like me or they hate me. Doesn't matter if I'm having fun or I'm bored. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing, right? One. So when you are done, when it's over, that is when abiding non-dual awareness can begin to happen. And I will tell you this. It's the greatest freedom in the world. It's the key to everything. It's the key to everything because it's absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. But it's everything. I've been using this idea last couple weeks. You know how in the Bible it says you have to lose your life to what? Gain your life. Same idea. Everything is being invited to be stripped away completely so that you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. That's why we say the I am presence. And not the I am God. I am Max. I am Jane. I am boy. I am girl. The I am, full stop. And it's almost the I. See, words can't totally get this, grasp this. But the I isn't even there because you don't even really know what the I is, because your self-conception of what the I is not what you really are. In A Course in Miracles, it says over and over and over, you do not know what you really are. Not who you really are, but what you really are. When a glimmer of this starts to happen, you become lucid or awake in the dream state. Now, one more thing before we open up to all your comments and questions. And if you have any comments and questions, you can put them in right now and we will talk about it. Now, spirituality does not want you to know this. Why wouldn't spirituality want you to know this? Because spirituality is literally in the business of the search. It's in the business of the search. So the more you search, because there is, I don't care if it's in or out, it doesn't matter. There's a God, there's a source, there's a thing that you aren't yet, and you have to what? Find it. You got to find it inside, or you got to find it outside. You got to find it. This is the complete opposite of that. Spirituality is literally in the business of making sure you don't hear what I'm saying right now. Take a deep breath. If you're new here, you might be like, what the fuck is that? What are you talking about? But hopefully I really worked on trying to articulate this somehow. So if you'd like to make a donation, I greatly appreciate it. This is the work that I do. This is my full-time job. And I have been working with hundreds and hundreds of people for many years, imparting this and allowing it to happen. So yeah, so that's that. All right. So let's open it up to what you're thinking here. You can ask any question. Of course, there's nothing wrong and there's nothing right. There's nothing good and there's nothing bad. So you can say or ask anything and put it in the chat and we'll talk. Let's go. Hello, Carol. Carol says perception. Now, this is interesting. Perception is the beginning. You have to understand the perception. Oh, I want to say this. This is a guide to waking up within the dream state. So what this is it's constantly telling you, helping you, guiding you lovingly to choose a different perception, right? And you begin to wake up in the dream state when you begin to do this. That's why I've done it for 40 years or more. Okay, what else is coming up for people? You can ask anything. You can say anything. You can say, you're full of shit. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Tiffany, love this truth so much. Completely life-changing. For sure. Life-ending. Francine says, how do we come out of the dream state? Practice. You can't. You won't. The character never came out of the dream state. This is a great guide to help you to do it. It starts happening. But you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. Many people just wake up and go, oh, fuck, I fucking get it. There's many people, and many of them are not spiritual. They're like, I see what's happening. And then they start to live their life. Insky, so does that propose that the only point to life is to live presently within the non-dual space? There is no point in life. There's no meaning. Life has no meaning. But a meaning can happen. How to access the Akashic records? I don't know what you're talking about. I know what that means, but I don't know what that means to this, to what we're talking about here, Jazzy. I know what the Akashic records is, what that term is, but I don't know what that means to this. And there's no point, and there's no purpose, there's no meaning. The meaning is there's no meaning. You're still trying to find a meaning. There's no meaning. The only thing trying to find a meaning, I did this last week. The whole thing about trying to find a purpose or a meaning. It is a moot point. Stop it. Stop it. And then spirituality will say, here's your meaning. I will give you your meaning. But you won't know it until you find God. And then the Course would say, There is nowhere where God is not. There's nowhere where you end and God begins, and there's nowhere where God ends and you begin. Because if there was a place where you ended and God began, then that would be what? Duality. There's you and there's God. I don't care if God's out there or if God's in here. There's still a separation. So just, you can look at it like that in ski. So just live each moment as an experience. Allow everything, and you can't even do this. This is why it's difficult. Everything is doing what it's doing, whether you have an opinion, whatever your opinion is. Doesn't matter what your opinion of coffee is. Coffee's going to be coffee. That you don't like coffee and you judge people that drank coffee, you probably could go back into your history and realize, oh my God, I don't like coffee because my mother's first whatever, left my father and then married this guy and he drank coffee and then you hated him. And so now you don't like coffee and you don't really know if you like coffee or not, because what you're doing is you're giving coffee a meaning that has nothing to do with what it is. Let coffee be coffee. Got it, Ski. Tiffany, I'm just going to let the universe do what it does.